Hello again, Handy Andy. Welcome back to a inspection report run through over in Snellville today, and we're looking at a synthetic stucco house that is kind of an investor flip. At least that's what it appears to be. And they had some crews come through here and do marginal work. And you'll see some of that with us. It's still a great house, structurally very well built and framed. There's just, as you see going through this, there's a bunch of things that need to be done. We'll start off right here. We've got a previous water issue. There's a media room right in this area right here. And you can see this downspout coming off the gutters here. So it runs, and it looks like someone tried to put fabric around the corrugated pipe here, which would never serve any purpose. So I've actually found the drain, which is right here. So it's clogged, it's below grade. So this water just backs up and comes right off this gutter and just drops right here at this section of the house, which is kind of what I expected after walking through the property with the real estate agent the other day. So we'll need to trench and remove this pipe right here. Never put corrugated underground. You can see it down here. I actually had to dig around and poke around and stuck my foot. And you can actually see my sneaker is now soaking wet right there. But that's that drain right there. And you can see the corrugated pipe. They'll always clog. Landscapers say, oh, I can do your drainage. Don't let them do it. Builders do it all the time. If you're building a new house, get a hold of the landscaping people, the gutter people, pay them extra and run 4-inch PVC pipe underground here. Put a clean out somewhere that you can get to. So we would remove the pipe from here, trench across the side yard, and drop it over here. You can see the natural pitch, so it'll drain once it gets over there. This downspout really isn't a problem right here, but we're losing light, so let me run through that. So that's the first drainage piece. We do have some light mold in the basement that we will treat at a fraction of the cost. If you have mold, just give us a call. It's usually a drainage issue. Something like this is causing a problem in the basement. This house has been sitting for a bit, so everybody's coming in here. Anytime you have a contractor come out that's a one-hit wonder, be very leery of the pricing. We've seen mold remediation prices on this house above $30,000 on the quote. So you do have some bulging sections of stucco here. I just keep an eye on this stuff. We can repair all that stuff. We're certified stucco repair people. And as you're coming through, I'm gonna go quick because we're losing light. You can see the painter's puttied right here. This is rotted. This nose is rotted. This is kind of the office, what I'm calling office, formal living room area over here. Same thing on this window. You got rotted brick mold. On every one of these windows with the shutters need to be removed, and we need to seal and caulk the edge of the molding here, and particularly on the bottoms. You're gonna see this here in a second. I don't know how much light I can get you. There you go. See this in here? This is wide open at the nose, at the edge of the nose, and it continues up behind all these shutters. On every single window, you're gonna see that. Just look for the black. See it right there? Right here. So it's important on every house, but on a stucco house in particular, and you can kind of see where the noses come across right here. These all need to be caulked. So wherever the shutters are, they need to come down, get caulked behind there. There's a lot of rot in these windows. We're the only company out in Atlanta that I know of that can replace. We make our own thermopane windows. So if this seal is blown in the window, we can go ahead and replace this window for you. And a lot of realtors use us for that. Get your windows caulked. There's nothing wrong with builder grade windows, which is what these are. But you always want weather cuts on your repairs. You see, like in here, they just puttied this stuff. So this is rotted, this is rotted. The inside frame is rotted right here, and here, and here. The outside frame. The nose right here on this transom window, it's gonna be hard to see it in the light, but you can put your fingers through this piece in through here. You can't piece this in, and we need to have a little more pitch on this. It's holding a little bit of water in this area, which is why this stuff rotted. And anything we repair, these guys and the builders only painted what you see. So the brick mold, the inside frame, they painted one face. If you're holding this on an iPhone right now or an iPad watching it, every piece of wood has 6 faces, just like your phone or your iPad. And so anything that we repair, replace, we'll do a weather cut like here, which is decent. That it's just a bad cut, so we do much better cuts than that. But down here it rotted again because it didn't back prime and seal the remaining faces. So whenever this repair was done, probably a couple years ago, it's already rotted out again. So you get a bunch of that on all these windows. I'm not gonna go through every single one of them. Be leery if an investor or a seller has dark trim, because it's really hard to see, but there's a triangle right here. It's called the dog ear. With the dark paint, it hides all the rot. So when the inspector comes out, he can't see it in broad daylight. I can't see it very well, but if you come out in the daylight, you'll see there's wrinkling, like it looks like your fingers are in the pool too long. That'll let you know this dog ear is rotted. the two dog ears above the front entry right here. There's one here, there's another one here. This window right here, this foyer window, is an example where the seals are blown. We can come back and deal with that another day. But for now, we got to repair the inside frame on both sides, and the brick mold on both sides are rotted out. So we'll just kind of bounce through. You get a feel for it. The dining room windows are the same. We've got some rot in this frame right here. See the black line where the inspector, someone put a fingernail right there. It's soft. Same with this window right here. As you get up on it, the left dining room window, see right here, this is all rotted through. I can literally push my finger through, but this contractor, whoever painted this house, just painted over everything. Mostly spray. See the finish work right here? This is rotted through too. So it sounds like a lot. It's really not. It just adds up because you got to get it done. There's some rot in these windows as well. I'm going to go ahead and push through, but anytime you see the wrinkling in the wood, just know it's rotted. The second story, I think this is a bedroom up here. I can't remember now from going through the house the other day. The centers are rotted. Left and right brick molds are rotted. The laundry room, I think, is right here. This right side brick mold right here is rotted. And again, you got to caulk all these noses. Now they came back through here and they rebuilt this stuff. I suggest just adding screws to the stairs from the back here. They're fine. But when you get to the deck, you know, it's too much wood to tear this thing down. The cost to replace this deck is $25,000 to $35,000 just for the deck. We're gonna have to tear off these stairs right here and rebuild them. They're not right at all. There's a lot of issues with the deck. I'm not gonna go through all of them right now, but the main ones are the stringers right here aren't cut properly. They're not supported from below. There should be a brace post assembly here coming back to the outside edge and then bolted down into this concrete slab back here. We'll find out when we start the work, but I think they just boxed in these posts and poured concrete against them. You don't want to do that. A little harder down here, they've got a dry below system, which appears to be an older system. I'm not sure when all this deck was rebuilt. This dry below looks like it's been here for a while, so it's kind of hard for us. I wish I was the house whisperer, but there's a few things about it. There's no way to get access to this, so we're gonna just put a budget in here to get in here and clean these out. This downspout right here is a 2x3. It'll never handle the water and it's facing the wrong way. It's the same with this one right here. The steps right here should have had a brace and post assembly here. And everything's nailed. There's not a screw, there's not a bolt in this thing. They've got some lag screws on the post, which you wouldn't do. This post right here, we're gonna go ahead and extend it all the way up and bolt it into the structure of the house. We need to be able to get into this edge back here underneath this dry below system and see if the rim board, the back end of the deck is bolted through to the outer rim board of the house. Unfortunately, in some of this area back here, this is ceiling tile back in here. I think this is a drywall ceiling right here. I can't get my bearings from outside right now, but hopefully we've got ceiling tile on both of these so we can pop them up and just put bolts through. But we're not sure how we're gonna pull this apart just yet. Why they reframed this way, I don't know. We can make this deck safe enough, but if you load 40 people on the back edge of this deck, you're gonna have challenges. But there's nothing to really look at back here, so I don't ever see that happening. But just bear in mind, the way they've got this thing built, the outer rim board on the deck should have been doubled up, 2x8s all around, and they just kind of recycled it. It looks like they took an older deck, they kind of refaced it maybe a couple years ago, and then someone just came back in and they tore off the railing and redid it. But all this is air nailed. You can see when you look at these posts right here, these are just screws. So we're gonna have to drill them through and bolt them through. So we can make the deck safe, but again, with the caveat that you're not gonna load 20 people up here. We've got more rot back here in the basement windows. None of these windows are flashed at all. So some of them need to be flashed. The upper windows are protected a little bit. You can see they're up under the soffits up here, but this center's rotted here in the sunroom and here. The door to the basement, same thing, rotted frame, both sides, rotted brick mold on both sides, and was never flashed up here. You can't really caulk that stuff because all caulk is gonna fail. And we can kind of show you that in a second when we come up these stairs. So we'll try to salvage some of this wood and just put it back. Some of it will have to replace because in areas like here, this is Tiki Taco doing this kind of work. These are just guys that are out here swinging ham for a day, make some quick money. Usually you get one guy speaking some English, My brother's from Mexico, so it's nothing against Spanish-speaking people. They're some of the hardest working people on the planet, but when you get contractors using day labor and they're not skilled, none of this stuff works. So you can see these are screws instead of bolts. You can see where the rim board is pulled away, and that's why we want a support post here. They use galvanized flashing, whoever did this deck, and I hate that they never took the stickers off. You can see why we're talking about the window noses being sealed right here. Pressure treated wood will rot right through this galvanized flashing, and you can't use it for that reason. So we'll trim that back and add a custom pressure treated beveled plate all the way through here that'll serve the purpose of flashing. You can see where the frame and the door is rotted here. The top molding is rotted, and again, it's not flashed. We'd add flashing here, here, and here. Any of these outside lights need to be bolted and sealed and caulked behind to keep the moisture from getting in. There's a few spots in the house. This nose right here is rotted on the window to the right of the deck. You've got these gutter helmets here. In theory, they're great. On a house like this, they should just be removed. You got 6-inch gutters. Because they had this gutter helmet here, the last people that bought this house, I think, got an inspection and the house didn't have kick-out flashing, so someone added very short diverter flashing up here. It doesn't serve the purpose. It's created this bulge here, and we've had active water coming through here. Whoever replaced these doors knew that the subfloor was rotted right under here. We can sister it from below and repair it under this door and under this door. When you look at what they've done in here, this radius arch was never sealed, and because they replaced this door with a slightly bigger door than what was here, see the gap here, we need to flash this piece and keep the water out. But when you look along it, see the black right here? That's where their caulk has already failed. So you've got to flash that. You can't just caulk it. You can see where they knew they had a problem. They came back in here and put a ton of silicone caulk behind that. That'll never work. So these have to be flashed. The kick out here, at least on this section of gutter and this section of gutter here, both of these gutter helmets need to come out, proper flashing. Once we do that, this stucco is going to have to be repaired right here. On this window, they tried to putty it in, and you see the gap between the mullion on the inside. It's just a pop-out frame. You see the little clips, but you shouldn't see this edge, and you see it, and if you look carefully, they just caulk this corner because the window mullion rotted out here. So we'll replace the mullion. The window does not appear to be rotted. Whoever built this nose across here, when they did the door, this is all wrong. It's setting flush, so all the water is going to come right back in here, rot this whole thing out again. So we'll build a custom nose on top of this piece. Same thing on this side over here. The difference on this one is that the window is actually rotted through. You can see where it's rotted in this corner right here. The bottom of the sash on both sides rotted out. What's cool about my guys is we're the only company I know of that will repair the sash with real wood. We'll rebuild the frame, back prime it, and seal it all up, and it'll be good as new right there. And that's kind of what you want to have. And you can kind of see when you look at the grid on this window right here, see how you don't see the bottom edge? See this corner right here? That's actually the mullion that mostly has rotted, but it's actually into the bottom of the sash as well. On this one, they just took the mullion out. See the difference? And that's why you see this, the framing right there, the grid. Under this door, when we do we'll put a threshold support under here as part of the flashing plate. We can't pick up every single thing to get going on this house. But it's like everything else. If you get quotes that make sense, you can build a relationship with a contractor, a decent one, that's what you want to do. But always be leery of the one-shots, the mold remediation guy, the water mitigation guy, some higher-end electrical and plumbing. Those guys will just gouge you, and really that's not what you want. Again, if the homeowner wants to, some of these seals that are blowing back here on these windows, we can replace them. He's got a couple pieces back here, like here. Somebody pieced this in. They pieced in over here. We're going to have to address those. All of these posts going through the deck up here on the new railing, we're going to add screws to each one of the balusters, and we're going to add bolts through to the rim boards here on every post. So that'll tighten it up. But that would be our way to deal with the deck without ripping it down. Now, if they want to have wedding parties back here, they're going to have to do something different. They're going to have to rebuild that deck. Right here is an interesting piece again with the flashing here. The gutter helmet has to come off these gutters over here to flash these properly. This window is completely rotted here, inside frame, molding end nose. That's the master bedroom going into the bathroom right here. And we've got so much moisture in here. We've got a little bit of mold. It's centralized. We can treat that with Mediclean. It's an instant kill. It's got a residual killing effect. But the thing about mold is that once you take away the humidity and you take away the moisture, it either dies out or really just goes into hibernation, so to speak. It just goes dormant. But the thing about mold is it can be dormant for millions of years, and you give it 80% humidity and cellulose to live on, poof, it's back to life again. I had mold-induced pneumonia a number of years ago, probably 15 years ago, and it nearly killed me. I can't really video what's going on up here, but this is the area right here. We're gonna have to repair the flashing here. We got a lot of water coming off this downspout from the upper roof here, and then the flashing in this corner right here. There's a toe board that the roofers left up on the roof, probably the painters actually. The roofers look like they did a pretty good job. One of these, I think it's this one. This vent is disconnected inside. It's for, I think, the basement bathroom maybe. I'm trying to do this from memory. But see how it's not sealed at all? And it's not sealed underneath, so you've got moisture coming into that corner as well. So all houses in Georgia, you really got to look out for moisture, stucco and particularly. If you get moisture behind it and it's not addressed, you'll get termites, you'll start having problems. But overall, even with this kind of an inspection, this is a great house. Once we take care of this drainage piece here, that'll improve the basement. I can't show you inside, but at one point they got so much water inside, they've got a fabric theater room, fabric walled ceiling or walls in this theater area down here. And that stuff is all bulged. You can see where the water was in it, so that really all needs to be removed. My brother and I run a crew of 25 to 30 people. It just depends what we've got going on and where we are. We do everything from finished carpentry, kitchen, bathroom remodels, painting. We'll hand paint, hand caulk a house like this. A lot of customers that have us paint will come out and do one side a year. And that way they stay up on it, and it's not a total budget killer. We do minor electrical, minor plumbing, all kinds of handyman. In fact, we started on-demand handyman business where we'll dispatch our guys. Customers will pay for a couple hours of work and get the little stuff done. You can reach us in the office. You'll see the number out here. Excuse me. And you can catch me sometimes on my cell at 770-265-9017. I'm Andy with HandyANdy. See you at the next house. Bye for now.